it registered the highest so far growth rate of 6.62%. And during the immediate past year, that is 2019-20, milk production has been estimated to touch 200 million tons mark. During 17-18, per capita per day availability of milk has reached to all-time high of 375 grams per capita in the country. Now, if we consider value of output of milk in 2019-20, it has been estimated to be around whopping rupees 7 lakh crores, which is 147% or 150% more than the combined value of wheat as well as paddy. The value of wheat has been estimated at around 1.75 lakh crore and paddy around 2.5 lakh crore. As we all know that milk contributes 66% or around 2/3 share of total output of value of output from livestock products, meat around 21%, eggs 3% and other products around 10%. Now friends, if we see dairy industry, we will find that this is another parallel socio-economic activity very significantly benefiting to the producers and consumers. Apart from this, is also playing a vital role in market regulation as well as provisioning safe and healthy milk and milk products. The Indian dairy industry has achieved this strength of producer-owned and professionally managed cooperative system despite the facts that a majority of dairy farmers are illiterate and run small marginal operations, and for many farmers selling milk is their sole source of income. You will be astonished to know that more than 10 million dairy farmer families, that means around 1 crore families out of around 25 crore total families of the country, have been networked with this dairy cooperative or dairy industry system, and out of which 71% are women. And this system incorporates around 1 lakh local dairy cooperative societies who sell their product to around 170 milk producers cooperative unions in the country, supported by 15 state cooperative milk marketing federations. So it's such a strong system. Now we know that in India milk production is dominated by small and marginal landholding farmers and also by landless laborers who are engaged. It has been estimated that with these small and marginal farmers, 70% of the total national milk animal herd it lies with them. So that means it provides them a socio-economic strength. And as we know that the crop production is dependent on around 80% of agricultural land, which is still rain-fed. And because it is rain-fed, it is prone to both drought and floods, rendering agriculture income very much uncertain for most of the farmers. And for those farmers, dairying as a subsidiary source of income and occupation is a real relief to the society. So it's a statement that the Indian dairy industry has now specialized in procurement, production, processing, storage and distribution of dairy products, and it contributes around 1.2 lakh crore rupees to the national economy. So this is the strength of the farmers and dairying. And if we see that total number of families which owe dairy animals, it is around 7 crore. So almost more than 1/4 of the total country's families, they owe dairy animals. And that's these 70 million producers, they are spread across 6.5 lakh villages, total villages of the country. And still the dairy cooperatives and other organized dairy sector has been able to reach to 1/4 of these villages only. So therefore there is a scope of 3/4 remaining villages that they can be networked with the organized dairy sector uh, by providing some basic physical infrastructures like all weather roads, electricity, and apart from the quantity of milk to be collected from them. Similar is the case with dairy feed industry. It has been estimated that the total dairy feed industry is of 20,000 crore rupees in the country. And but the important point here is that they are producing only 8 million tons per annum. There are some 70 plants with the cooperative dairy federations throughout the country which are producing around half of the cattle feed, and rest half is produced, or little more than half is produced by the private sector. And this covers only around 10% of the need of the country. So this again, cattle feed industry is again a very good scope for expansion and to provide better nutrition to our dairy animals. If we talk about the eggs, the estimated production of egg during 1920 has been put as 110 billion in number. Now this number will increase the per capita availability to individual person of the population of the country to 84 number of eggs per annum. And this 84 number is very important because of the fact that we have risen to 84 from 5 in 1950-51. And again, the annual growth rate of egg production in 17-18 was around 8%. So this is giving a very good growth rate also, like milk. The total milk meat production in the country was around little less than 10 million ton, which constitutes around 50% of poultry meat, around 20% of meat from buffalo, 15% and 7% around again 20-21% from sheep and goat collectively, and 5% around from pig, and the annual growth rate is 3.66%. Another important sector which has been clubbed with the new ministry is fish. When I was reading these or collecting the data from this sector, I was very much astonished that the value of output of fishery sector is showing an increasing trend, with estimated output value during 1920 as 1.7 lakh crore rupees. So it is more than the total value of wheat produced by the country. And the percentage share of value of output of inland fish and marine fish, it is around 50-50 or 55 inland fish and 45% marine fish. But very important thing is India's marine fish export zoomed to more than rupees 45,000 crores in the year 2017-18, and out of which only frozen shrimps, they fetched rupees 31,000 crore. So that indicates that there is lot of scope in the fishery sector also. And similarly, if we, you might have heard about EXIM policy, export import policy, and for every sector, what is the balance between export and import, it is being seen. So the total export of livestock products during 2017-18 was around rupees 50,000 crore rupees, whereas the import under this sector was only around 10,000 crore rupees. So there is a gap of 5 times in export and import, and that is considered by economists a very healthy gap. Now, talking to the concerns Low productivity is one of the concern because our